Welcome to the Teaching Excellence podcast. Today I am joined by Liberty Mills. Hi Liberty.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So for all those out there that listen to the podcast, there's been a bit of a break in podcast recording. There's been so much going on. But some of you may know that there's been the launch of Joyful Education, which is myself and Lou Mycroft bringing joy back to education, and part of the development of that has been the discussion about teacher wellbeing. So through lockdown there was lots of discussion about teacher wellbeing, and as we've moved towards the new academic year there's also been lots of discussion about how teachers are going to manage themselves and stay healthy as we go into a very different new academic year. So out of that we have designed a wellbeing initiative, and Liberty, I'm so chuffed that you've agreed to join us on that. So I thought it'd be really useful because we're launching the initiative tomorrow, and I thought it'd be just really useful to talk about the session and what people might be able to expect. But first and foremost, I want to talk about how important nutrition is for busy people such as teachers and those who are involved in education.
It's especially important for busy people, more important than anybody else, especially for teachers, because they're, everyone's drawing from their well. And if they are not nourished, how can the children that they're teaching get the most from them? And then when the teacher goes home, how can their partners, their families get the most from them as well? And how can you get the most from yourself? If you're just running on adrenaline, Kit Kats, and a bit of burnout at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's nothing, that feeling when you finish the last lesson of the day, you are as a teacher just so exhausted because, like you said, you give so much and you give a lot of your energy to the students that are in front of you. And teachers especially are, and it's not the only profession, but especially prone to not having a lunch or not having a break and almost just grabbing food as and when they possibly can. I know that it was one of the hardest things to do was to be really organized with food. So I'm interested in some mini tips, I suppose, and people will be able to see them maybe about what the session will be about tomorrow night. But what types of things should we be trying to do for ourselves when we're so busy?
Like you said, prep and be organized is the hardest thing. So start on a Saturday morning or a Sunday. I just had one client last night, and she's a busy hairdresser. They're working from 8 in the morning till 8:30 or 9 at night. When she gets in it's sometimes 9:30. Prep. Make the freezer your best friend. Because you can take stuff out the night before, it's already there, you can warm things up as soon as you come through the door. Make protein balls, throw them in your car in the morning straight from the freezer. And then when you hit that last break before your last lessons and you are about to crash, probably for me it's around 2:30, 2:45, and I just think, I just want some chocolate or another coffee. You don't need to go for that because it'll artificially stimulate your cortisol levels, and then you'll have that crash later on. So pop in some protein balls. You could make 24. You only need 2. That's 14 for, not even for the week, so it's 10 for the week.
Yeah.
You've got 2.5 weeks already done in 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's really important, isn't it, to think about not just main meals but snacks. We spend a lot of energy planning, delivering lessons, meetings, dealing with student issues, and there's just so much that goes on. It is relentless every day, and it's why we've also put together the half-term Wellbeing Wednesdays, and we're going to start doing a more substantial day so that teachers can come and invest in their wellbeing at half terms without having to leave the house, and come and learn about all the different things like nutrition and exercise and sleep, and the things that will really help them to just not get that half term or holiday exhaustion. So many teachers talk about when they get to half term, or when they get to like Christmas or Easter, especially Christmas, you know, it's hard in the winter months. There's just such a nosedive in terms of energy, and
Or
so many,
they'll hit with that cold, or they'll get
yeah,
the flu because finally their body stops and it's like, I can't do any more.
yes, when they're just going and going and going. And we've got to it, you know, it came about for me because quite a few years ago now I was really poorly with a really sort of serious illness that meant that my energy was absolutely flawed, and it was at that point where I realized that I'd been just running, and you know, I was doing work 7 days a week and I just wasn't eating that well. I've never been a bad eater, but from that, for that maintenance of energy throughout the day, you know, I was getting home and I was absolutely crashing. And then you don't want to, you know, invest in another like healthy meal and cook from scratch. It's the last thing that you want to do.
Well, a pro athlete, someone that's going for the Olympics, and I think, you know, teachers, lecturers, they are almost doing the Olympics, you know, if they're heading towards those exams and GCSEs, A levels, the SATs, doing it all with the pupils. They're having to take on all that energy as well and get to that point. It's like going for the Olympics. Now, Olympian wouldn't just eat and just go and think, oh, as long as it fills a hole, I'll just get to the next point.
Yeah.
They really, really invest in their body. They invest in their sleep. They invest in the way they breathe as well. And all of those things nourish our bodies. A lot of what I do for integrated nutrition is not just how you nourish your body on the plate. There's other areas too that will really, really help and support your energy.
Yeah, and I'm excited because this is part of the journey that we're just going on, is starting this wellbeing initiative, and because we feel really passionate about bringing some of this learning to teachers, people in education, and so I'm super excited. So
Huge one is, before we go,
yeah,
water. We're like plants, and we're primarily made up of water. So if you're dehydrated, we all know if you've had a bit too much to drink, you get a brain fog the next day and you can't fully concentrate. It's not necessarily the alcohol, it's the dehydration that the alcohol results in. So if you're not hydrating yourself, you will flag and you will reach for your hobnobs, your Maltesers, and actually you just really needed to reach for some water.
And I that's been one of the hardest things for me, is to get into a good routine with water. But I made a commitment. Some days I'm not great, but I don't beat myself up about it anymore. But generally, I try to drink as much water as I can throughout the day, and I do feel so much better. And like you say, it's that brain fog, and if I'm dehydrated, that's the first thing that happens is brain fog. So tell us what we might learn tomorrow evening. I'm super excited.
There's lots. So I'll take you from, I don't know what time. Most of my clients that are teachers get up around 6:15, 6:30. I'll take you till 6:30 in the morning till 10 at night, and I'll give you a few tips that I give my clients that are teachers, that have set them up for going back into the workplace as well. So things like your water, we'll go through sleep hygiene, we'll do what you do when you do crash. We'll also look at how you nourish yourself off the plate. There's 2 tips that I like to impart, and they're all scientifically based behind them as well. It's not just me. There's lots of GPs doing it now, lots of GPs thinking of things in a functional way, because a lot of their patients are coming to them with depression, burnout, chronic fatigue. And so I just want to impart my knowledge that I got taught when I was studying, and give it to you, and small changes make a huge difference. It's not massive things you have to do. I think 99% of them will be free.
Yeah, and that's what I love. That's why I'm super excited, because those who know me know from a teaching and learning background, I'm very evidence-based. I like to look at what the evidence says, and I'm very sciencey at heart, so I like to look at what the evidence says. And but my passion is about how we implement things very practically. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm so excited for you to join us tomorrow. And yeah, you know, I think that's what people need, is some hints and tips around what to do in the morning, what to do for lunch, what types of things would be useful from an energy boosting perspective in the afternoon, and then thinking about dinner and evening as well. So yeah, I'm really excited, as you can tell, but I really look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Brilliant.
Thanks so much, Liberty.
Thank you.